If you are watching this late at night or very early in the morning, this update is for you. It is just past midnight. Many banks have begun their overnight processing cycle. And for millions of seniors across the country, March direct deposits are now officially in motion. Today, we have an important update about midnight payment activity connected to Social Security, SSI, SSDI, and VA direct deposits for March. If you rely on one of these programs to pay your rent, buy groceries, cover prescriptions, or simply make it through the month, this matters to you. I know how this feels. You check your phone, you log into your bank, you refresh the screen, you wonder, is it there yet? By the end of this update, you will know exactly what is happening tonight, who is included in this payment wave, what is not happening, and what to do if your deposit does not appear immediately. There is no hype, no fear, no politics, just clarity. Let us take this step by step. First, what is actually happening right now? There has been a lot of talk online about a midnight surprise. Some headlines are calling it a bonus. Others are suggesting a cut. A few are saying something dramatic is changing. Let us calm that down right away. This is not a bonus. This is not a cut. This is timing. What is happening is part of the regular March payment cycle. The Social Security Administration has released scheduled payments according to its official calendar. Many financial institutions process those electronic files during overnight banking hours, often between 12 antemeridian and 3 antemeridian local time. That is why some of you are seeing deposits appear right now. There is no new law. There is no emergency payment. There is no surprise stimulus. This is the normal distribution of scheduled March benefits. What is happening is that scheduled March benefits are being electronically transmitted. Banks are processing direct deposits overnight. Some recipients are seeing funds earlier than expected because of early release banking policies. What is not happening is that there is no extra bonus payment attached to this deposit. There is no reduction in your regular monthly amount. There is no new benefit program tied to this midnight timing. Again, this is not a bonus, not a cut, it is simply timing. Now let us talk about who is included. We are going to break this down by group so there is no confusion. The first group is SSI, which stands for Supplemental Security Income. The official rule for SSI is that it is normally paid on the first day of the month. If the first of the month falls on a weekend or federal holiday, SSI is paid on the business day before. For March, payments were scheduled according to the official calendar. If March 1st fell on a business day, that is the target release date. If it fell on a weekend, the payment shifts earlier. What you should expect is that if you receive SSI by direct deposit, the SSA sends your funds on the official payment date. Your bank may post it immediately, overnight, or early, depending on their policy. If you use a bank that offers early direct deposit, such as some credit unions and online banks, you may see funds before the official calendar date. If you receive a paper check, delivery can take several mailing days after issuance. The second group is SSDI, which stands for Social Security Disability Insurance. The official rule for SSDI is that it is paid based on your birth date if you began receiving benefits after May of 1997. For those with birthdays on the 1st through the 10th, payment is made on the second Wednesday of the month. For birthdays on the 11th through the 20th, payment is on the third Wednesday. For birthdays on the 21st through the 31st, payment is on the fourth Wednesday. For those who started receiving benefits before May of 1997, payments are generally made on the third of the month. If the third falls on a weekend or holiday, the payment shifts to the previous business day. What you should expect tonight is that if your payment date aligns with one of those official release dates or the early release window from your bank, you may see funds now. If your payment date is scheduled for a later Wednesday this month, you will not see it tonight, and that does not mean anything is wrong. The third group is Social Security Retirement Benefits. The rules mirror SSDI for most recipients. If you started before May of 1997, payment is typically on the third of the month. If you started after May of 1997, payment follows the Wednesday birth date schedule. Again, the SSA releases the payment on the official date, and your bank decides when you see it. The fourth group is the pre-97 combined group. This includes individuals receiving Social Security retirement or disability benefits before May of 1997, and often those who receive both SSI and Social Security. The official rule is that payment typically arrives on the third of the month. If the third is a weekend or holiday, payment moves earlier. What you should expect is that if the third aligns with tonight's processing window, you may see funds overnight. The fifth group is VA benefits. VA disability compensation and pension benefits are typically paid on the first business day of the month for the previous month's entitlement. If the first business day is Monday, funds are usually released the prior business day. What you should expect is that if you receive VA compensation and your bank offers early posting, midnight processing may reflect your deposit. The sixth group is SNAP, which stands for the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program. SNAP is administered by states, not directly by the SSA. Payment dates vary by state and sometimes by case number. SNAP deposits do not follow the Social Security Wednesday schedule. If you are checking for SNAP, you must refer to your state's distribution calendar. Now let us pause for a moment. If you did not see your payment at midnight, that does not automatically mean something is wrong. Let me explain why. This brings us to bank processing, which is one of the most misunderstood parts of the system. Here's the key line I want you to remember. The SSA sends it, but your bank decides when you see it. The Social Security Administration transmits a payment file to the Treasury. The Treasury sends it electronically through the Federal Reserve System to financial institutions. After that point, timing is no longer controlled by the SSA. Some banks post immediately at midnight. Others post at 2 antemeridian or 3 antemeridian, or at 6 antemeridian when local branches open systems. Some banks hold deposits until the official payment date, even if received earlier. Some banks offer early direct deposit, meaning when they see a pending federal payment, they release it before the official date. Other banks wait. This is why two neighbors receiving the same benefit can see different posting times. Let us clarify a few terms. The official payment date is the date the SSA releases your benefit. The bank posting date is the date your financial institution credits it to your account. Pending means the bank has received notice, but has not fully posted funds. When funds are posted, they are available for use. Direct deposit is an electronic transfer into your account, while a paper check is mailed through the USPS and is slower and more variable. So if you log in at 12:05 antemeridian and do not see it yet, it may still be in the processing window. That is normal. Now, let us talk about what to do if your payment has not arrived. Step 1 is to wait 3 full business days after the official payment date before assuming there is a problem. Not 1 day, not overnight, but 3 business days. Step 2 is to check your bank first. Make sure your account is active, that there are no holds, and that your direct deposit information has not changed. Step 3 is to log into your My Social Security account at ssa.gov. Verify your payment date, your direct deposit information, and any notices. Step 4 is to watch for deductions. Sometimes Medicare premiums, overpayment adjustments, or other authorized deductions can reduce your deposit amount, which can create confusion if you expected a different figure. Step 5 is to contact the SSA only after 3 business days if the payment truly has not arrived. Call early in the morning, have your Social Security number ready, and stay calm and factual. Most missing payment situations are resolved quickly once verified. In many cases, the payment is simply still in transit through the banking system. Let us have a short reality moment. Many of you are managing rising grocery costs, higher utility bills, and prescription prices that feel heavier every year. You plan carefully, you budget carefully, and you count on these deposits. So when something posts at midnight or does not, it feels bigger than just a transaction. It feels like stability. That feeling is valid, but tonight's movement is part of the regular cycle. There is no emergency change, no hidden adjustment, no sudden cut. This is simply the March schedule unfolding. Take a breath. Now, let us move into a practical checklist you can use every month. First block is to verify. Verify your official payment date on ssa.gov. Verify your direct deposit routing and account numbers. Verify deductions such as Medicare Part B, Part D, income-related monthly adjustment amounts, or overpayment recovery. Second block is to protect. Avoid scam calls claiming there is a midnight problem with your account. The SSA does not call at midnight asking for gift cards or wire transfers. Do not spend funds early based on pending unless your bank confirms availability. Monitor your bank account regularly. Third block is to apply. If you are struggling with costs, check eligibility for SNAP benefits, the Low-Income Home Energy Assistance Program, Medicare savings programs, or state prescription assistance programs. You can visit benefits.gov to explore federal and state programs. Even small supplemental programs can ease monthly pressure. Now, many of you are asking a bigger question. Is more help coming? Are we going to see increases, emergency relief, or additional payments later this year? Here is the balanced answer. As of tonight, Nothing new has been signed into law providing an extra federal payment beyond scheduled benefits. There are always discussions in Washington, and there are always policy proposals and economic reviews tied to inflation data, but discussions are not decisions. Any change would require formal legislation, approval, and implementation. Right now, what you are seeing at midnight is part of the standard March benefit schedule. No speculation, no predictions. If something official changes, it will be explained clearly. Before we move further, I want to reinforce this calmly and clearly. If your deposit appeared overnight, that is normal. If it has not appeared yet, that can also be normal. The SSA sends it, and your bank decides when you see it. This midnight movement is about timing, not surprise money, not cuts, and not policy shifts. Now we are going to go deeper into specific March date examples, how early direct deposit banks work, common myths about double payments, how calendar shifts can create confusion, and what to expect later this month based on the Wednesday schedule. Let us continue calmly and clearly. Now, we are going to get even more specific about March timing, early deposits, and some of the common misunderstandings that tend to surface during these midnight processing windows. Once you understand how the calendar interacts with the banking system, a lot of the anxiety disappears. Let us start with March calendar mechanics. Every month follows the same framework, but the exact dates shift depending on where weekends fall. For example, if March 1st falls on a weekday, SSI payments are released on March 1st. If March 1st falls on a Saturday, SSI is paid on Friday, February 28th. If March 1st falls on a Sunday, SSI is paid on Friday, February 27th. This early release can create confusion. Some people believe they received 2 checks in 1 month. In reality, one payment was simply moved earlier because the first fell on a weekend. This is extremely important. An early payment at the end of February does not mean you will also receive another SSI check in early March. It means March's payment was delivered at the end of February. That is calendar shifting, not bonus money. The same principle applies to Social Security retirement and SSDI. When the third of the month lands on a weekend, if the third falls on a Saturday, payment shifts to Friday the 2nd. If the third falls on a Sunday, payment shifts to Friday the 1st. Again, that can create the illusion of 2 deposits close together, but it is one scheduled payment delivered early, not a bonus, not a double, and not extra relief. It is simply a matter of timing. Now, let us talk about early direct deposit banks, because this is where the midnight surprise feeling often comes from. Some financial institutions advertise that you can get paid up to 2 days early. How do they do that? They receive notification from the Federal Reserve that a government payment is pending. Instead of waiting until the official settlement date, they release the funds early as a courtesy. That means the SSA may officially schedule payment for Wednesday, but your bank might show it Monday night or Tuesday morning. Other banks wait until Wednesday morning. This difference is not about eligibility, and it is not about priority. It is about your bank's internal policy. If your neighbor sees their deposit at midnight and you do not, that does not mean they were approved for something special. It simply means their bank releases funds early. Remember this line: the SSA sends it, and your bank decides when you see it. Now let us address one of the biggest myths we see every March, which is the double payment month myth. Here is how that confusion usually starts. If SSI is paid early at the end of February because March 1st falls on a weekend, then later in March, some beneficiaries might see a regular Social Security retirement payment on the 3rd or on a Wednesday. They look at their statement and see one deposit at the end of February and another deposit in early March. It feels like 2 March payments, but the end of February deposit was actually March's SSI payment. The early March deposit was retirement or disability benefits. These are 2 different programs with 2 different rules and 2 different calendars. It is not a surprise bonus, just overlapping schedules. This is why it is so important to know which benefit you receive and which rule applies to you. Now let us talk about the Wednesday schedule in detail. For most retirement and SSDI recipients who began after May of 1997, payments are tied to birth dates. For birthdays on the 1st through the 10th, payment is on the 2nd Wednesday. For birthdays on the 11th through the 20th, payment is on the 3rd Wednesday. For birthdays on the 21st through the 31st, payment is on the 4th Wednesday. So in March, you may see deposits on the 2nd Wednesday, the 3rd Wednesday, or the 4th Wednesday. If you are checking at midnight during the first week of March, but your birthday places you in the 3rd week group, your payment is not supposed to arrive yet. That is completely normal. There is no delay, no issue, and no change. Your deposit date is simply later in the month. Now let us talk about pending transactions. Sometimes you log into your bank and see a pending deposit from the US Treasury. That means the file has arrived, but your bank has not fully cleared the funds. Pending does not mean missing, it does not mean reduced, and it does not mean there is a problem. Pending simply means processing. Most pending federal deposits clear within hours. Occasionally, smaller banks or credit unions process in batches and release funds at a specific time in the morning. If you wake up at 12:10 antemeridian and do not see it yet, check again at 6 antemeridian or 8 antemeridian. Midnight is just the beginning of the processing window. Now let us briefly talk about paper checks. While most beneficiaries use direct deposit, some still receive paper checks. Paper checks follow a completely different timeline. They are printed, they are mailed, and they move through USPS delivery routes. Weather, holidays, and regional mail flow can all affect timing. If you receive a paper check, allow several mailing days after the official issue date before assuming a problem. Direct deposit is almost always faster and more predictable. If you are still using paper checks and feel comfortable switching, direct deposit generally reduces stress. Let us address overpayment adjustments for a moment. Sometimes beneficiaries see a smaller deposit than expected and assume something went wrong overnight. Before assuming that, ask yourself a few questions. Was there an overpayment notice? Was there a Medicare premium change? Was there a voluntary withholding change? The SSA sends written notices for adjustments. If your deposit is lower, log into your My Social Security account and review your payment details before calling. In many cases, the explanation is already documented. Now, let us return to the larger question many of you are thinking about. With prices still elevated in many areas for groceries, utilities, and insurance, will there be more help? Here is the steady answer. Benefit increases tied to inflation occur through the annual cost of living adjustment, known as the COLA. The COLA is calculated using inflation data. It is announced in the fall, and it takes effect in January. There is no mid-year automatic COLA. If Congress were to pass a special relief measure, it would require legislation, funding, and administrative rollout. As of tonight, there is no signed federal law providing an extra March payment. There are discussions in policy circles, and there are proposals introduced periodically, but proposals are not payments. If something becomes official, it will be publicly announced and implemented on a structured timeline. There are no midnight surprise laws and no hidden deposits. Federal benefit systems move slowly and formally, and that is actually a form of stability. Let us center ourselves for a moment. You have worked your whole life, you earned these benefits, and you budget carefully. When money shows up at midnight, it can feel like either relief or confusion. But tonight's activity is part of the structured, predictable monthly cycle. Predictability is your friend here. The system follows rules, and once you know the rules, you can breathe easier. Here is your calm closing checklist for March. Know your group, whether it is SSI, pre-97, the Wednesday schedule, or VA. Know your official date. Know your bank's policy. Allow 3 business days before escalating. Use your My Social Security account to verify details. Ignore sensational headlines promising secret midnight bonuses. Protect your information. Plan your month steadily. If your deposit has arrived, that is good news. If it has not arrived yet and your official date is later, that is normal. If it has not arrived and 3 full business days have passed beyond your official date, then it is time to calmly follow up, but not before. The SSA sends it, your bank decides when you see it, and March is unfolding exactly the way the official calendar outlines. If this explanation helped reduce confusion or stress, consider subscribing so you can stay informed without the noise. We will continue monitoring the March Wednesday waves and any official updates that affect seniors, disabled Americans, and veterans. Stay steady, stay informed, and remember that timing is not the same thing as change.
Yeah, grind mode on, can't kill my drive. Turn the pressure up, I come alive. Grind mode on, I don't fold, I don't quit. Hunger in my chest, every beat I commit. Eyes on the prize, no sleep till it's won. World in my hands when the grind mode's on. Wake up with a vision, I'm locked on the target. Turn pain into fuel, I'm a flame, I spark it. No shortcuts here, I embrace every test. Pressure on my shoulders, still I handle it best. I was made for the climb. Every loss, every scar built me in the steel. Now I shine like a star. If the road gets rough, I just double my speed. Ambition on 10, I was born to lead. Grind mode on, I don't fold, I don't quit. Hunger in my chest, every beat I commit. Eyes on the prize, no sleep till it's won. World in my hands when the grind mode's on. They said limits exist, but I shattered the frame. Every wall in my path is just fuel for the frame. Discipline heavy, but my spirit is free. I don't chase success, success chases me. I'm the storm and the calm, I'm the rise, I'm the proof. Every bar that I drop is the grind in the booth. Blood, sweat, tears, that's the code I trust. I don't wait for the crown, I earn it, I must.